Hello everyone, my name is Colleen and I'm pleased that you're joining me here today. I hope you have your coffee. I have mine. Second cup of the day, but I just feel like I need that second cup today. I'm going to get ready to share with you a new bread machine recipe. And for those of you that have followed along with the bread machine recipes in the past, this one might interest you as well. But before we get started, I wanted to say thank you to Catherine for this beautiful little gift. When it came in the mailbox and it was so bright and cheery and covered with flowers, my heart sang a little, not gonna lie. And in here, she has sent me a note in a pretty little card, and tells me that she enjoys the things that she sees on the channel, and she has included in the card a recipe for refrigerated pickles, and I appreciate that. It sounds like an easy recipe, and I look forward to it as soon as I have some doughs ready. And this pretty little bookmark, which I'm going to put to work right away. I love to get messages from my viewers, whether you're commenting down below or whether I get these beautiful little cards. It means the world to me, so thank you, Catherine. I always love to see your comments in the description box, but this really went above and beyond, so thanks so much. There. Now, I won't dilly-dally too much. This is a very quick recipe. It will be a quick video, which gives you an idea that if you have a bread maker at home, you can get through the process quite quickly because we let the machine do all the work. Now, if you got a bread machine and it's sitting someplace dusty in a cupboard, it's time to go through my recipes and make that machine work for you. We do love our homemade bread here, and my hands are getting all, the age, getting a bit of arthritis, and I find it really hard to mix dough for any length of time, so I put the machine to use. Saying that, I have to confess that the machine didn't always work for me because I got it, I tried to follow the recipes, and I didn't like the result. Two of the things that I didn't like, or maybe the chief thing that I didn't like about it, was that the bread on the outside baked more than I wanted it to because it's down inside the machine. So it made a thick crust all the way around. And it just didn't taste the same way as homemade bread of my memory. So one day, being a little bit stubborn, I went astray from the recipe and felt like I didn't want to buy any more special ingredients because I'd already bought bread flour, which I've never used for anything else, and I had bought bread machine yeast. Now, whether those two things made the difference or not, I'm not sure, but now I use all-purpose flour in all my recipes, and I use quick rise yeast, and the flavor is there again. There's nothing scientific about that experiment, but those are the two things that I did to love my bread machine, and it works on the counter every single week. So we're going to make Hawaiian Rolls today, and so I am going to gather up what we need to get started on this, and the process will only take maybe 5 minutes, and then the machine goes to work, and it will work for the next hour and a half and a bit, which is part of this recipe, and then we'll be ready to form the rolls. They'll rise, so there's no time in our day for that. And then we bake them off, so it goes pretty quickly. If you're having a home day like we are today, where it's been thunder and lightning all morning, and it's just, I think it's finally stopped raining, but it has been raining. And we're not complaining about the rain, don't get me wrong, we need the rain, but it's a dreary day, so having the smell of hot bread in the house will just make it feel so much better. Okay, let's get to it. So this has more ingredients and different ingredients than most bread recipes do that I've shared with you in the past. But hang in there, it's worth it. We're going to start off, because we're making Hawaiian rolls and there is a bit of the flavor in there, rather than starting the recipe with water or milk, we're starting this recipe with pineapple juice. And we just need a half a cup. And I'm going to warm that in the microwave. Just maybe for, I don't know, 5-10 seconds. 10 seconds was good. And it's going to go into the bowl. I'm going to put in all the wet ingredients first. And then we'll turn to the dry. I'm going to add some sugar to feed the yeast. Although there's probably enough in the pineapple juice to do that. We need 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. In we go. I hope everybody's well, looking after each other out there when I'm not there to help out. We need some yeast. We're going to use a tablespoon of yeast in this recipe. We've used more yeast in there than I would normally put into a batch of bread or buns because there's a lot of heavy liquids in here. So we need a little more pickup than we normally have. So that's a tablespoon of yeast has gone in there. And now we're going to add some eggs. We need 2 whole eggs. And we need the yolk of a 1/3 egg. And we are going to save the white from that 1/3 egg to do an egg wash on top of the buns before they go in the oven. They're going to get super brown. Okay, there's our eggs in. And I'm just going to set this aside over here. And I'll get rid of those. There are different schools of thought about putting butter into recipes. I myself like to just put the butter in because I'm using the bread machine and I know it'll do a good job. I like to just put it in room temperature. And we need for this recipe, how many tablespoons? I've forgotten. I have it written down here so that I don't leave anything out because there's extra things that I'm not used to having. We need 4 tablespoons. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, and as always I try to bring you the videos in real time so that you can have an accurate idea how long it takes you to make a recipe. The only thing that I've kind of prepared earlier today was I've changed flour containers in my cupboard, and my flour container is now quite big and I can't just easily bring it to the counter, so I have pre-measured out my flour. Okay, let me grab another spoon. Now, some of the things that have to go in here that are on the recipe, which will make these different from regular buns, is I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And I should not be measuring over top there because salt can get away on you and then you get too much salt. And we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Yeah, not a lot of yeast spreads call for vanilla. There we go. We need 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. And if you are not a fan of ginger, maybe just leave this out. But this recipe, it does add a little something to it, makes it a little different. Whether it makes it feel like the authentic Hawaiian style buns or not, that will be up to you to decide. I need two tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm just going to double check that and make sure I'm not messing that up. No, all good. And I just need 2 tablespoons of water. I'm just going to bring this over here to get my water. This will be a wet dough, and you just have to handle it a little bit differently. Don't be afraid of it, for sure. Now, in goes the flour, and I've pre-measured this flour. There are 3 1/4 cups of flour in here. Now, because it's a rainy day here today, our humidity levels are a lot higher. So, flour, when we mix flour together with water or other liquids, we're just trying to rehydrate the flour, which was, a live plant that had liquid in it while it grew, and then they allow it to dry out and grind it. And what we're doing to make bread is we're rehydrating the flour. So on days like today, we may have to add a little more or a little less moisture in order to rehydrate it so that we have a nice elastic dough. And we're going to give this a try. When it's finished kneading, I am going to peek in the machine when it finishes kneading to make sure it's where I want it to be. And I will add more flour if I think it needs it. But this, on a normal day, this would be the right amount. So in it goes. I only use the dough setting on my bread machine. So I will get it in there, set it to dough, let it run through its cycle, which is 90 minutes. In that 90 minutes, it kneads it and it goes through its first rise. I'm going to look at it when it beeps, and I'm going to set my timer for an additional 15 minutes. Because I just feel like it needs that extra amount of time to rise the first rise. And then I will come back to you with the dough and we'll make some buns. Okay folks, I'm back working on these buns. And I'm just going to spray up a 9 by 13 inch pan. And make sure I get it pretty well coated. Seems like the corners don't always get the spray they need. And I'm going to reach into my bread machine and get this dough out. I did leave it the additional 15 minutes over what the machine normally sets to. And got a really nice dough. I can feel it. It's great. It is a bit soft, which is just fine. The dough is a soft one. As with almost any dough that has eggs in it, they can be soft. So I'm going to cut this into, you could make more, but I think I'll cut it into 12 buns. And we're going to have these buns for dinner tonight with some ham and cheese and just a simple salad on the side. But definitely you could use this recipe, which would be much cheaper than buying the Hawaiian buns in the grocery store, and then still be able to make sliders, your favorite sliders. So that would be a good thing. All right, now I'm going to do some cutting. And you could weigh these if you wanted them all to be exact, but I don't think I need to do that. I don't need them to be all that exact and pretty. So 3. And then I can always steal from 1 to 3, 4. Yeah. One, if it looks big, I can give some to a little one, etc. I've got them all cut here. So this bread, or this dough, was in the machine for the whole 90 minutes while it mixed, kneaded, and was raised. And then I left it an additional 15 minutes just because I wanted the dough to be more pliable and the glutens to have a chance to relax. And I can see from the bread, or from the dough, that that has happened, and I'm really happy with the result. Now I did go get some flour, but I don't feel like I'm going to need it. But if you at your house, again, it's a weather dependent thing, or humidity dependent anyway. If you think you need more, then you should get a little flour on your board so that you're not sticking, because it could be, you know, not, this one turned out great, but yours may be a little more moist. Now I'm just putting them in, and I'm going to press them down a little bit. I want you to see what I'm doing. So I'm just turning the bread, or the dough, just turning the dough into a ball in the center, and I'm bringing all the little ends together, and then I'm just going to put it on here. And actually this is perfect without having the addition of flour on there, because it sticks a little to the countertop and makes a perfect little ball. And because we're using these for sandwiches, I'm giving them a little press down, and then I will continue along making these until they're all done. Well, I have them all rolled up, and I'm just going to cover them with a light cloth. This one is pretty cute. We sell it at our local museum, and I love it. Made from scratch. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to let it rise about an hour. I've got a warm place for it to sit, so it may not take a full hour. We want them to double in size. Well, they've risen up quite nicely, and I'm really pleased with them. I'm going to, just now I have my egg white in here and about a tablespoon of water, and I'm just going to stir it really well. And we're going to brush the tops of these before we put them in the oven. And they will stay nice and supple that way. And it will also help with the browning. These will be a beautiful brown bun when we're done with them. I have the oven set to 350 degrees, and these will take anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes, I would say. I'm going to keep a close eye on them. I suspect between the 20 and 25 degree, or 20 and 25 minute mark, they'll be ready to come out of the oven. So let's get them into the oven right now, and I'll bring you back to finish them off. Wow, these look delicious. I'm really excited to eat these later. And right now, I should let you know that I left them in the oven 25 minutes at 350 degrees, and they sound nice, like they're well baked through. Now I'm just going to, while they're still hot, I'm going to brush them with some melted butter, which will help to keep the tops nice and soft, because that's what you want from your Hawaiian rolls, is a nice soft top. And look, when we let the machine do the work, we can come up with all kinds of wonderful treats. These freeze well, so we'll probably, well, I'm not going to lie to you, this batch, because we haven't made them in a while, This batch will be gone by tomorrow at this time. Because who doesn't love fresh buns? But when it's normally just Gino and I in the house, we would break this in half, and we'd put half in the freezer, so 6 buns into the freezer. You could also make these in, you know, a different size pan, make them smaller so the dough balls were the size of a golf ball, you know, and have a smaller bun as well, which would work better for sliders. But this is the exact recipe to use to make slider rolls. Today, I made Hawaiian rolls, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, and you try this recipe, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, if you would give it a like, that really helps me. And I look forward to your comments as always. I will see you again really soon on the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.